Thank you everyone for jumping in. Welcome to Let's Talk About Data. And again, thanks everyone for joining. I can see there are 10, 15 people online. And we'll be talking about a very hot topic nowadays. Very hot topic. Everybody is talking about. Since agentic AI has come into picture, this topic has become more hotter than data mesh because data mesh were the first one who started making this data product famous. But as Motesen mentioned, data as a service was always there. So we used to pull data from different places using APIs XYZ, but we were not calling out data product or data as a product. So that became famous in the era of data mesh. Well, data mesh is very old, but data mesh also become famous in last decade or so. So that is how now suddenly last couple of years back, generative AI came in, and now agentic AI came in where everybody is looking towards not to miss out our federated approach, which we discussed a couple of years back. Now federated with agentic AI, this data product, you can't miss it out. You have to build something, right? Everybody is talking about it and everybody is confused that what is data product, right? Yeah. So I think it was worth bringing all industry leaders, all our panelists to discuss this. And the whole idea is to listen from different region people that what is happening in their region, in their country, how customers are behaving, what they're expecting, what product owners are selling. Very important. What customer is expecting, what product owners are selling, and what SIs are selling, because these are the three parties, right? The jargons move around these three parties. So, as I will start with Nicholas, because he's the guy who's having a tool, amazing tool, which I love it. Although he has changed his background name from UE to Data Galaxy, but I am still a big fan of UE. So UE is just a quicker for everyone. UE is something which can show you all your data products, everything within your organization from idealization up to adaptability and post implementation. Nicholas will talk about more on it. So he's the guy who is making transparency or visibility, whatever you want to call it, for all uh, data and AI product in the organization. So I think let's start with Nicholas. Nicholas, floor is all yours, and let's start.
Okay, well, that's tough to start. Um, um, I think for me the concept of data product is it's not necessarily purely technical. It's a vehicle. It's something on how do we help bringing curation on everything we have in the ecosystem. How do we help with discoverability, trustability, consumption for people, but also, and you mentioned at the beginning, for AI agents, basically, and saying instead of saying, let's crawl everything with varying level of expectation, it's a way to bring that created level. So usually I tend to simplify the definition of a data product for me in two main aspects. Uh, First, I don't have a narrow. In each organization, I think you need to do the work of defining what exactly you want to call a data product, because sometimes data product is only data, and then people differentiate with analytics products and AI products. Sometimes you want to call a data product something wider, where you can have anything in there that delivers value, and it could be dashboard, it could be AI model, and so on. So how you want to call those things. I know John is not here, but he has this nice, data products pyramid where he has also named those different layers differently. So there's different ways to name things. But for me, the product approach doesn't restrict what you want to put in there because it starts with the user in mind. It starts with value. The question is, it's for first and foremost a business question. What is the value we want to deliver for whom and to support which kind of decision? And then the what is a solution basically is maybe the solution is to bring a data set. Maybe the solution is to bring a dashboard. Maybe the solution is to bring an AI model that brings insights. So that's the solution scope. Sometimes I'm presenting some one of the flavor of a data product canvas. And I always start with saying you have a problem space, what problem you want to solve, the solution space, which is what is the product you want to build, and the value space, which is how you're going to prove and assess the value and the risk and the cost behind that. So it starts with that. Second part is you need to apply product management. So product management, that part is actually the first step of product management. The discovery phase and who you want to deal. So, and the second part, so the first part of the product is it has to be product managed. It seems obvious, but it's like it's a product management thing, and it starts with that. And the second dimension is it has to be managed over time, and that's really important because in history, in many cases, what we build are not product just because you don't have an undergoing budget to how you're going to capture feedback, how you're going to evolve, how you're going to maintain, how you're going to advocate, and that notion of you need to manage that over time and then make decisions. Should I reinvest? How can I keep it trustable and up to date? And should I reinvest or divest if it doesn't deliver value? Is also part of what makes a product. Everything else are technical things that come as a way to deliver those products and make them discoverable. For example, data contracts are for me one of the tools you can use to make it consumable, especially by machines. But it's not what defines the product. It's a tool. When you have a product, it's a tool to describe its contract. So I'm going to stop there. But that's.
Now, which is perfect. It's a good point of view from Nicolas. I think let's go towards Marek now, because my next
Daniel
question...
has a hand raised.
Hey, Daniel, you have a question or you want to unmute yourself? I just gave you a permission to unmute. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nicolas. Thank Mustafa. But thanks for bringing that up, Nicolas, because I think that's exactly to the point that there are a lot of tools, but for me, frankly, I don't care about the tools. It's about the organization. And I've seen a lot of examples where you skip the organization and just go to the technical solution and say, now I have a data product. But if you look at normal product management with all your design frameworks and architecture and everything around that, I often see that missing. And of course, I will mention metadata as one of the elements here, that you need a common language to be able to scale up data products from the 1 to 5 to 10 POCs to actually having the hundreds, 200s, thousands of data products that you actually need. So it's a segue into for me, the organization is the key here. The tools, they can come later, but if you don't set the foundation, as Nicolas said, then what's the point?
That's a great point. If I may, I've been doing a kind of a masterclass yesterday on data product at scale, and I always like to finish with team topology and different discussion about organization. How is the organization going to support both the construction, the delivery, and the funding of the product? So very aligned with what you just said, Daniel.
Yeah. So I agree on this one, right? That every data product is not about technology. Technology comes last, right? And we are entering into a era where there will be hundreds and thousands of small data product. Maybe a small API end up, 2 tables end up, and 1 dashboard end up becoming a data product. So that takes me my next question towards Marek. Marek, are you able to unmute yourself?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Awesome. So Marek, right? So you are at the front door with the business because you are the BI guy, right? You are creating dashboards and report front end for the business, and your core business is that, right? How do you see customers are behaving towards this data? For them, what is data product? Because see, it all started, they want to build something. Few people want to build value. I always say either there is a value or either there is a cost of inaction. There can be only 2 ways you can bring something. Cost of inaction is also a hidden value actually, right? But sometimes cost of inaction might not be there, value is there, right? So these are values. So how they are looking into these products? They are expecting one dashboard to be a data product. What is their perspective?
Their perspective changed in time, and they didn't really they didn't really care about that from the inner part. They changed the point of view on the data product, even though they don't even know at the moment, I think, because from the perspective, I need to admit, I went before this call, I went to ChatGPT and asked him, like, what is data product today? Because I was really curious, what is the definition of the data product? Because from the history, before it was really cool to talk about data product, we didn't know we are bringing the data products to the customers. After 2012, I think it started a really big hype about that. So customers were asking, like, we want this report, we want this dashboard. And we started to think about that as a data products. Now there's a report that will be statically delivered, but we were thinking about the natural evolution. So we always brought the POC and said, this is going to change in a month, that is going to change in a year, and it will be very different in 2 years. So become ready for the changes. So we are bringing you sort of a data products which should be maintained, manageable, supported, and evolving. That was the most important thing. We always told, we are not bringing the BI, we are bringing you some actionable insights for your questions, and we are bringing you the answer using this. And we always called it tool. We brought something like a report at the beginning, but we told them we are bringing you the tool, and they understood, yeah, it's a data product. Now we don't really need to explain, because the customers are coming to us and say, we want this small tool and bring us these actionable insights, and there will be an AI, because they understood already what is happening behind the scenes, because they understand that you can hit some API, you can bring some data that are not in the system, because you can ask some AI tool and it brings you the answers. So what they expect when you come with the data, they expect exactly the same iterations, so they expect it can be interactive, it can be self-evolving, it could be, and all these kind of attributes totally change the landscape of the projects. So 3 years back, we never talked about data products and tools. We were the ones, after analysis, we brought on the table, look, we are bringing you some analytical tool. It will be sort of a data product. And it needs, exactly as Daniel said, a metadata totally defined. It has to be backed from your side. You need the guy inside. He's going to evolve with the products. He's going to be reflecting all the changes from the company, from the organization, and he needs to bring to us, and we will apply the changes. And it's going to be happening regularly. We're not bringing the product and it will be static for years. Now, everybody is expecting this and telling you at the beginning of the project, we expect exactly and give you the definitions of the data product. And this is really hard, because now the landscape changed and you need to focus on, so where shall I start? Where shall I explain to the customer? Do you have a perfect metadata? They don't. Do you have a team, to bring out the changes? They don't. Do you have a federated? No, we don't. And do you have an APIs defined? No, we don't. Do you have a business language? No, we don't. Okay, but we want the meta product. We want everything which describes the data product in 2025. So it's integrated with AI and everything. And this is a total shift, because it's like I want to be on the first century in 2020, let's say 20, and it will be I'm going to Mars with Tesla or with NASA, and I don't have the technology, I don't have anything like that. So we need to explain to customer, it's a journey, and it's not going to be in a day or a week. So that's very different landscape. Especially the last 3 products, it was very, very similar. We had the 3 negotiations with 3 different clients. They told us exactly the same. They told even the same definitions. We were laughing totally, and they were like, why are you laughing? And we said, last week, we've been talking to the other clients. He said exactly the same definition, exactly the same attributes. And probably what I expect, you have one DVH, which is not really good supported. It's probably 5 years old. You had a lot of Excel files. You had, and they say, yes, exactly. We don't know what is there, but we know exactly what we want. So it's getting very hard at the moment for us.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, you have brought a very key point over here about metadata. I would love to go towards Daniel, but I will still pause it. I will keep this question with me because I want to bring this question, how important metadata is. But before we go there, let's go to Gregor because he is also meeting customers on this. So Gregor, what is your feedback about this data product understanding from your customer lens?
Yeah, there's a lot of confusion about the term in the market. So that's, I think, the reason why we are discussing those things. But in general, when we are talking about those terms, I like to see it from the perspective of a data product consumer. So me as a data product consumer, I would expect that there is something like, so it's a technical term, an output port, where I can consume the result of the data product. So that's one thing. The second thing, what I would expect is that there are some kind of terms and conditions, how I'm allowed to use the data, yeah, or which service level is provided by the data product, and so on. And this third thing is that I expect, and I think that's what Nicolas already mentioned, is that there is somebody who cares about that data product and is continuously maintaining the data product until this person who is responsible for the data product says, okay, now I quit and stop the maintaining of the product, so that I'm, as a consumer, I can decide, okay, this is stop maintaining, I can stop using that and switch to another data product which is providing similar things. So I think from having a consumer perspective helps me a little bit to describe all those things, what a data product should deliver. But what I see in the market is a lot of discussion. Some are discussing how data product is the tooling, the infrastructure, the data platform, and everything like that. So for me, I like to divide the term data and product, data product. On the one hand, I would expect that there is that kind of output port and data. So for me, I think Marek has discussed this, the report on top of the data is just an additional kind of delivery of the data, is more visual representation of the data itself from the data product. And the product term for me shows that there is a kind of a product management, which was mentioned already by Daniel or Marek and all the colleagues before me. So the perspective from the consumer perspective helps me to explain and get more understanding of those things. But there are a lot of different meanings and interpretations of those things. And I think what Nicolas also has mentioned is that there should be a kind of a use case which describes what the preparation of the data should result in. So that's also a main description what I like to use to get more understanding in that space.
Awesome. Nathalie, from medicine side, if I still can recall correctly your domain, Nathalie, are you able to unmute yourself?
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
here.
Tell us from your end, because we can't run away from health industry if something goes wrong, right? In other industries, we can say, hey, we end up creating a product which is not reusable or which is behaving badly. Fine, let it go. But in health industry, no, we cannot. It's a Boolean actually. So tell us about your industry, Natalie.
So I would say, I would caveat what you just said, Mustafa, with the fact that I used to be a product manager for software for pharmaceutical industry. So when I hear data product, that's really why I wanted to attend this call, because is what do you call a data product? I am used to a software itself being the product that you will sell to your customers, in that case, the data industry. But I understand that it's more the package, the analysis, with the data and so on that you're selling. I don't know if that terminology of data product has gone already into the pharma industry as such. I know that there is loads of data science and so on. I had to look up what do you mean by what AI means at the moment with a data product. So you're talking about reports and you're talking about dashboards and so on. I think it's important to look at what those are, what phase in the drug discovery you are looking at. If you are looking at something that is already at a drug that is already on the market, I understand all the pharmacovigilance of all the stuff that is happening with a particular drug, that you can have a data product as a report, a dashboard, and so on. I am more specialized in the early development, so before everything goes into GMP, GXP, and all that stuff, where I'm not sure that you can really think of a data product. Going back to whoever said about metadata, well, if you give me data without metadata, I don't want it. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it lives, what it's all about. I've written quite a lot of blog posts about capturing the metadata and capturing it accurately within the scientific labs and so on. One of the example is room temperature. This is something that every scientist in the lab would record, well, or used to record, said room temperature. Yeah. Today it's very warm. It might be 24 degrees inside. But in winter, it might be only 17 degrees. In terms of scientific things, the scientific processes, that makes a huge difference. It's not necessarily recorded accurately. So metadata is super important if you want to be able to do something with your data. Because I'm more looking at the research side of the data, I'm not, as I said, I don't know if in early research a data product is what is very needed and so on, because everything is very much flowing. You're trying new things. Things that are useful as data product is about, definitely that is quite useful to have how much experiments are done, etc. The instruments. That having what you call data products or dashboards, reports,
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Natalie. So before I jump into Daniel, I want to put my stuff here as well, because then we go towards Daniel on the metadata. But Martin, I can see you are online, and I'm going to put you right over there before, after I say definition of myself. So Martin, get ready. I'm going to unmute yourself. Okay. So see, my definition, why I want to put it in, because I'm also a solution architect, and I'm talking to a lot of people, and people ask the same question. So I have to come up with something which is technically understandable as well, because where business is asking for data products, someone has to go and deliver data products. So what business do before they go into Google and ChatGPT nowadays, they also ask their architects, hey, what is data product, right? Because they need to understand before they go to product company or SIs. So for me, it's just my perspective, it's just my definition, what I see. I categorize the whole data ecosystem or data into two pieces. One, where data is generated, which is OLTP, where front-end applications or system application generate data. You enter data. So data goes inside the database, into your systems. The other part is serving. Means you take it out, you transform it, and you serve it to the people. in shape of dashboard. It can be in shape of dashboards, reports. It can be in shape of notification. It can be in shape of actions, or it can be shape of like someone else want to massage that data. So there is data ingestion and there is serving, two pieces of data, right? That's a standard piece. Now, for me, when you serve, that is where I feel data products come into picture. When you are serving to someone, is traditionally you have a product in the market, traditional product. You have, let's say, what, something like glass. Glass is a product. Someone used that product, right? Now, anything created with data, for me, that's a data product. Having said that, every data product need to have a value or cost of inaction. Now, there can be multiple type of data product. One is two types. One is data product in shape of application, means someone come up with a requirement and you create the whole piece, means pull from source systems, process it, and serve it again in shape of dashboard, reports, notification, and action. That's a simple one data product as an application. Second is DAP, which concept came from MASH, where you create a data model in such a way someone else can consume it, which makes it as a data as a product. So I normally look into data product from this angle. But let me put one more example. The other day I was talking to someone. Car is a product, right? We use car. But within car, there is an engine, there are seats, there is many other items, but we call car as a product. We don't call engine of the car as a product. But if you pick up that engine, put it into a engine industry or engine shop or wholesaler where they are selling many engines, that engine become a product. Within the car, you don't call it as a product. It's a piece of a car. Car is a product. So I differentiate these things in such a way, right? And then a lot of give and takes, metadata need to be there. I'm coming towards Daniel, towards you. Metadata need to be there. Expiry date need to be there. Reusability need to be there. One item I want to really highlight, anything which is ad hoc, requirement, someone comes and tell you, hey, give me this data for this product, for this region, blah, 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 one time. I don't call that as a data product because it's a one-time dump. That's personally I feel. Martin, are you ready? Because Martin has tons of experience of data as well. I didn't tell him that he's going to talk, but Martin, are you ready?
Sorry, Martin, before you start, I'd like to interject and challenge one thing before you start, Martin.
Oh, yeah.
For me, what you described just now, Mustafa, I don't agree. I think it's too loosely held today. Everything is a data product, which means we don't really treat it as a product. We mix POCs, we mix pilots, we mix sort of production-ready stuff.
Mhm.
It's a big mashup, and we call it all a product. We wouldn't treat normal products the same way. And for me, that's the biggest problem we have with the data product concept right now, is that there is no real governance, there's no real naming conventions. We're just mashing everything up. And to the pharma example just now, I have a friend in the pharma industry who put it quite well. Would you put something in your body, a medicine, that came from one or several data products that was generated, would you put it into your body today? And of course, no, because you don't trust data products enough. So unless you get to the point where you trust a data product in the same way you trust a normal product, that it's gone through certification, it's been owned, it's been tested, it's been validated and all of that, before you get to that point, then I wouldn't trust data products. I wouldn't use data products until I can trust them the same way as I do normal products. Sorry for the interjection, but for me, it's a very important topic to interject here.
No, it is good. That's the reason we are discussing, right? We need to understand what data product is. So what you are saying, Daniel, is correct. You can't trust it. But the question is, if you don't trust it, and it's a reusable product, if you don't trust it, are you saying it's not a data product?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't, if I can't trust it, then I can't use it. If I can't use it, then it's not a product. It's not a product in the traditional sense.
No, but the thing is, if UAT is done, user has tested, value has been generated, and it has been confirmed that this medicine is good enough to use, then of course we productionize it, right? We will not productionize it without that. No, we don't disagree on that, that until unless it is not tested, until unless value is not confirmed, it's not a data product. Done. But once that is done, then you agree, right?
But you don't know the tests. You don't know how it's been tested. You don't know how it's validated. You don't know how it's built up. For me, the confusion lies within that there is one golden nugget within a lot of crap. So how can I be sure that the data product I'm using upstream, I can trust everything? It's been validated, it's owned, it's maintained, it's updated, it's governed. Right now, I can't trust it. So lacking the trust for me is the key element here. That
But trust is based on the missing of data, or based on non-proper testing, or based on whether it has gone into production and it has been tested for, let's say, for a couple of quarters, then you will trust it. How you will trust a product?
I would put it like this. I would put it like this. When I can trust the data product, once, for example, I know that there is metadata management in place. I know that there's master data management in place. I know all the checks and balances are in place to actually run it as a product. There is the organization in place and so on. But what I'm seeing and what I'm distrusting in a lot of cases that I'm looking at is that it is a technical solution. There's not the organization, there's not the processes, there's not the commitment from line of business. It is an IT solution that is being pushed out and then being named a product without the sort of processes that you need to have in place.
Okay, so I think we are discussing the next question, which I was supposed to ask. How important is metadata? I think, Daniel, you already started this piece, that how important metadata is. And I also believe metadata is the important, when we say the important, when agentic AI comes. Because when agentic AI comes, agents are the one who is going to build small data products. It can be a data product within a container, right? So agents will go and do it. And if you don't have a data contract in place, proper metadata definitions, taxonomies and ontologies all in place, I don't think agents can do the work which humans can do. So just to close this thing, Daniel, what do you think about agentic AI coming into picture, creating products on the fly, decommissioning products on the fly? How do you see that change, Daniel?
I have done tests with different solutions, ChatGPT, Gemini, and so on, in creating proper taxonomies and ontologies, and they succeed in about 70% of creating a taxonomy ontology, essentially the foundation for your metadata. But it often fails. Why? Because it doesn't have a reasoning process well enough established. It doesn't have accountability and doesn't have learning. So creating proper metadata structures to actually facilitate agentic AI, it is still a human task. Because the tests I've done to untangle and actually make it work, the metadata structures, the taxonomies and ontologies, it actually takes about 2 to 3 times longer to fix the mess afterwards than to creating it good from the start. So I wouldn't put my trust in agentic AI to solve the metadata management issue. I would trust getting actually to staff and finance that. And last 18 months, I've seen a huge push towards metadata management. Gartner is driving it in all of their conferences right now. But the adoption in line of business and most organization is not that big yet. But for me, adding the taxonomies, ontologies, the structure to your metadata, your business metadata, that's going to be the key element in success. And those that do it first and invest in that, those are the ones who are going to be the leaders in AI and agentic AI as well. But it's a human in the mix. You cannot do it without people. You cannot do it without skilled people. You need to have humans in the mix.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think this was the question, my next question, which we already started. Coming back towards Nicolas, because I do hear you last time mentioning that one of your customer told you that he had 1,700 or 800 products in his organization, right? But that is before agentic AI. Now agentic AI is coming, right? And when agentic AI comes, you expect agents to work autonomously, right? So when someone, if you ask Mustafa, go and build something, Mustafa need to know what that product is. Mustafa need the labels of everything sitting in the kitchen, so I know which recipes are what before I cook something, right? So continuing what Daniel mentioned, that metadata is key. So what you're looking into your customer base, Nicholas, with respect to spending time and money and effort to going into metadata management, how the shift you have seen, because your tool will have a big chunk of products coming in, right? So even if there is no metadata, your product, I think, will struggle, right?
It's I don't remember when there has been there was a discussion on LinkedIn some time ago on I think it was with Omar, with what matters most is, and so what I said at the beginning, you start with product management, but product management drives what I call technical excellence or excellence. And the argument from I don't remember who was more we need excellence and then even potentially product management. And I kind of disagree with that. But what I mean is that if you really want to do products and manage them by design, you will, because it's an ongoing process, and because what Daniel said also behind, you need to build trust on the end. You need to automate some of those things behind. You need to make sure that you have a continuous quality control. You need to have that metadata layer, because that metadata layer is the only way to ensure that you trust what you have and you control what you have, etc. So and to piggyback also on my new logo here, that's one of the reasons also we join UE with Data Galaxy, is because Data Galaxy is a metadata layer. So we have this ability to extract, and again, even if it's a competition, that's the same idea in a way, is that we need metadata extraction. We need a strong way to have the right metadata layer and governance layer for our individual assets to be able to then curate the one that we want to propose as data products, because again, they're serving different business purpose. Someone mentioned reusable. That's an important topic I didn't mention, but that we have clients who say if it's not reusable, it's not a product, And I liked what Nathalie said before also regarding research. We failed in a way with research usually, because research in many cases, they don't have projects. They don't have reusable products. They have one-time stuff. And so that whole concept of trying to call that product just doesn't work, because they need quality data for one time, so they're not going to put a team. And the other thing, that those projects are bounded in time. They start and they finish. So is anything within one project is going to be reused by another project? Very, very little, that's because it's unique experiments and so on. So especially in pharma and so on. So in that case, don't even try to call that product, because it would be product washing. Should you have some technical excellence, maybe, but again, it has to be purpose fit to what you want to achieve. So, but anyway, yeah, if you want to have something, anything you want to support reusability, everything you want to support scale, you need to build automation on how you build that strong metadata layer. And then you can enable the next level of automation is agents level, which are going to automatically consume and bring insights on that and so on. So, yes.
Yeah, I think Nathalie want to put in some comments over here. Yeah, please go ahead.
Sorry, I couldn't resist on this one.
I saw your physical hand. Don't worry.
I think in what Nicolas is saying regarding the one-time data in research, this is not the case anymore. People really, really want to reuse data, and that's where the metadata is critical. You may have heard of repurposing of drugs and things like that. So that is something that is happening in the pharmaceutical industry, where the data that has been already used to approve a particular drug can be reused, so you don't have to redo, for example, all the toxicology and so on. So reusing data in pharma industry, in healthcare and so on, absolutely. But metadata, if you don't have a metadata, you can't do that because you don't know anything about it. And the taxonomy, the ontologies and so on, there's a lot of projects that are ongoing to define globally, not only within an organization, but globally, ontologies to name things the right name, as we say in French, to name a cat a cat. But that is really critical within the entire pharmaceutical industry, pharmaceutical and biotech industry.
Awesome.
Sorry.
Gregor, okay, let me unmute yourself. There you go, Gregor.
Okay, so just one addition to that, what we have discussed right now. So Daniel has mentioned the trust in the data product, and he relates it, and Nathalie explained it as well, to the existence of metadata. Of course, metadata is important to understand what's inside and describe and so on. But in general, I would disagree on the topic that metadata generates trust. It's the basis of understanding and usability. What generates trust is the governance of it. So I'm not sure which car you are using, Daniel, but only the description of the car will not generate that you will trust the car. So you will trust the car because the name of the company is a valued name, and you will trust to the car because you expect that there is a quality insurance of all those things. That generates trust. That means the data governance part of the data product generates trust. And these service level agreements, the level of data quality should be described in that kind of data contracts. And when somebody provides you that data or the data product and combine it with the data contract and the description of the service level, that's the combination what I can use to trust the data product. Of course, metadata is a part of that description, the schema, and everything like that. And also more descriptive parts of the metadata are important to understand what's inside. But metadata per se, from my point of view, doesn't generate trust.
Just let me add it here before Daniel jump onto it. Right? I kind of agree on both sides. Reason being, for example, you go and buy some drink from market, right? If you are a casual buyer, you won't even go and read the ingredients behind it. So even ingredients are not there, you will go, and the product is a product from a famous company and you trust that company, then you simply go and anybody hardly turns a Coke can and read ingredients. But if there's a guy who's very health savvy, those guys will go and read it. If the domain like health industry, yes, it becomes very important to know the ingredients. I normally fight with my wife and mom, whenever they say, hey, go and make a green tea for me, I go and find out I can't understand the difference between salt and the sugar. So I keep fighting them. Can you put some tag over there? Right. So these things do happen. So yeah, okay. Before I was moving ahead, I see a face, a very familiar face. Ahmed, welcome, Ahmed.
Hi, welcome. Welcome
So
to everyone. Good to
yeah,
be here.
no, thanks for joining. We have a time check of 10 to 15 minutes max. And before we come to you, Ahmed, Alan has raised his hand. Let me unmute Alan and give him an opportunity to contribute. Hi, Alan. Can you unmute yourself now? Yeah,
I
you
have
can,
done.
I guess. Yeah.
Okay, the one thing I wonder about is that we can sometimes get dragged into the detail. Okay, I had a very eye-opening exercise about 1 month ago when, with a colleague that was working in Turkey, walked into a hospital with a problem in his lungs, and he used their universal app, which is now called the Citizen and Product app, basically. And he was able to pick up a scan that he had from another hospital 3 months ago on his app, link it to a completely unrelated hospital, and then they pulled it into the AI that was scanning it to give feedback to the doctor that was there. They have 60 million users, 7,000 data products underneath that are currently linked into this app. It was started in 2023, it's now 2025. You've got similar ones in India that's going along at the moment. In the labs in Singapore, they're showing that same kind of functionality. And so one of the questions I ask is, are we, when we look at data products, thinking of our small, narrow little world? Or has in the last 2 years, things moved on beyond that? When you have 7,000 available products in an app being used by 60 million people, which is pretty much across the whole country, and I'm assuming India is doing as well at the moment with their process. Okay, are we now talking about something that's happened and how do we adopt it rather than what it is? So I'll stop at that because otherwise I talk too much.
No, Alan, perfect. Actually, that was the whole reason of having this session, because you are absolutely right. We have been using these terms, we call it term, but we have been using this product or whatever you want to call it from decades. But suddenly when this agentic AI come into picture and then comparing with the data mesh, all this data product name popped up and everybody got confused. And that is the reason we have this session. Ahmed, you are on. What is data product being called and taken in your industry, in your country, in your region? How things are going?
Yeah, I might be sharing something maybe that is less conventional, I would say. For me, as a chief information officer, one of my important roles is to ensure that everyone in the organization has access to the right data at the right moment to be able to perform their jobs or to take a decision or for an expert to perform an action or a design. So my view of a data product is actually ensuring that we provide a service internally that is based on data of the right quality, data integrated correctly, synchronized between the systems, and real time if possible, or at least fresh data. So when we are speaking from my perspective on data products is a service that we provide on top of a data platform, meaning that it can be based on a simple database or a data lake or a data warehouse or whatever persistent data layer it has, might even be based on virtualized data layer, but that will provide the right data to my end user who is performing a certain process. It can be a finance process, it can be an HR process, it can be a sales process, and that they get the access to the right data based on the platform that we are serving to our internal users. When I see it from my customers' perspective, so we serve today more than 14,000 customers. We are in the fintech industry. The idea of a data product is almost the same, where we have that data layer on top of which we build processes and we serve the customer based on the data that is within embedded in the right processes.
Awesome. Awesome. So we have again have a time check of 5 odd minutes. So let me throw one last question. Bringing agentic AI, I really want to understand and tell something from our panelists to whoever is listening and whoever will be listening in future. That where do your industry, your country, your region stands with the adoption of agentic AI? How much success you have seen of agentic AI? Of course, with the angle of creating data products and with all these limitations, we already know data culture is not there, metadata is not there, but businesses are pushing, right? So what? So everyone can take 1 odd minute, and then we'll close it because we are hitting that. Nicholas, coming back to you, what successes have you seen in your customer side with respect to adopting agentic AI and data products?
I don't know. Sometimes I believe, I don't know if you know the expression that agentic AI is like teenagers speaking about sex. There is many people talking about it, less people actually practicing it. And so I think there is. I mean, that notion of agentic in the sense of purely autonomous and so on is still very much in flux now. Now we have clients who have a lot of success with building data products that are reused and using that to fuel some very interesting AI use case or some Gen AI use cases, because then they have a good basis to I'd say really expand usage. And the rest is in many cases it's still very much in the build for what we've seen. There's the level of maturity is higher in what we talk, and there is a few people who did that, but it's not like mainstream yet for me.
Okay, Marek.
He was already said everything, but what is the most important thing?
We want to have a purview of your customer base and your region, that how much success is there, people are there or not, or still there is a time.
As I said, everybody's talking about this and nobody's successful at the moment. I think it's a transition period here and it's going to take years probably. And what is the most important, I think still analysts and people need to be there next to it. Even though there is an agentic part, I think it still takes people. And in our region, it's always a little bit behind. It's not even that much, but in some part of Eastern Europe, like in Estonia, Latvia, I have friends and they are very close to Turkey. Yeah, they had all the things, even in Ukraine. I know in Kiev, it's a lot of applications and data products. You can even create your entrepreneurship. You can create a company, and you don't even need to go to the office. So there are many data products in Slovakia, Czech Republic, Hungary, and Poland. It's a little bit behind. It's getting there. We are also cooperating, but it takes years, not the months.
Okay, awesome. Gregor, your region, what's happening over there?
Yeah, so first I want to talk about 2 challenges, what I see over the 30 years of data management. So the first challenge is to understand the data, to have the meaning behind the data and so on. And the second challenge is to prepare the data. Those both challenges are still there. So over 30 years, we are fighting against those challenges. So the second challenge, generating some stuff, that's what we solved already many years ago with that automation approach, what I support with the products as well. And I see with some Gen AI capabilities, also some capabilities in that area to generate such solutions. But I really already see some capabilities, building ontologies, understanding the source data. So currently I'm working for a solution which is located in Austria, built in Austria. which automatically analyzes the database structure, the code behind, and the processes behind the application, and generates documentation and also the relationships, even if they are not hard-coded in the system. So I currently already see some things in both areas, helping understanding the data and generating that stuff. I'm also working for a company in US, which is working on some solutions, or they are already delivering solutions in that area where you can interact in natural language. And behind the process, not only a report is generated on a base data set, it's also generating some data management stuff in behind via natural language interaction. So I see dedicated solutions, not only in Austria, but worldwide, in those both challenging areas.
Okay, so just to highlight, I have a question from Nicolas, and then we go to Ahmed. Again, just a time check. My apologies. We might take 5 more minutes with all panelists. Nicolas.
No, I just wanted to. I think Marek said something that raised my something we didn't discuss explicitly, is the difference between internal and external data products, because Marek referenced some stuff that are actually external data products, and that may be a whole other topic that we would be interesting to discuss, because there are different implications in that, and sometimes people get confused. Is that are data products only for external data products, or does it also make sense internally? And anyway, that's a whole kind of worm that we can open, but that's I think that's a very interesting discussion. For me, data products apply to both, but they have some different implications, and that's an interesting, interesting topic. I'm ending there and leave the floor to Ahmed and the rest.
Thank you, Nicolas, Mustafa. A quick note. So I will take first 20 seconds because I came today with 2 books, and I know that I was a little bit late. But the first thing is I wanted to congratulate Mustafa because I got your book, and it is a great book. So congratulations on your book. This is really great, and the real reference. So it's 400 something pages. I didn't finish reading it yet. And then about agentic AI, I will do still my self-promo with my new book, Digital Transformation, that is just out a couple of weeks back. And actually here, this is what I'm going to share is the how we should be seeing agentic AI. I think agentic AI, we need to start seeing it in different levels. Today, many of the posts and publications we are seeing speak about fully autonomous agents. I really, like Marek said, we are not yet there, and we will not be yet there. And we are not yet there for many reasons, including that the data is not clean, including that the models are not what we expect, they still hallucinate, and so on. But what I have seen is that there is a first level that many companies have started to do and to do well, is the basic assistance, what we used to call chatbots. And the chatbots and assistants that work well are the ones that are very specialized in specific topics. Once you have that, you can start moving to a next level by using the reasoning models to have those assistants provide you with possible decisions or possible actions. And if you are okay, then we are in supervised mode, and you can ask it to execute 1 or 2 actions, depending on the integrations you have, if you are able to build some MCP to integrate and so on. And then the model will come back to you and say, I have did this reasoning. I think like you should do A, B, C. Should I do A? And you say, yes, do A. And it will come back to you. Should I do B? And then you say yes or no. So that is what I am seeing today. That is also what I have experimented in my current organization. And that is like the level of maturity of the tech today. I think like with supervisory execution seems to be good and start to become mature. The next level is to enter into only exception handling. The model does the reasoning and executes autonomously, and you only manage exceptions when the model is not able to handle. We are not yet at that step. And that is for me, when we speak about autonomous agents, that is maybe the target, but I see it honestly in years, not even in months. And with the level of the tech that we have today, meaning that even with the best models, we still have a high hallucination rate. It is not yet ready to be in full autonomy mode. The second part on it is that we still can perform autonomous agents without relying on AI. We maybe have forgotten that, but data integrations, RPA, no-code tools can still, in a very deterministic manner, execute some stuff very well. And we might not be needing to put AI in every single thing just for the hype or for the sake of it.
Okay, so again, thank you so much. But I saw Motasem, by the way, Ahmed Motasem is here and he's going to kill me. He has one question. I have to ask that. I do not know people will drop or not, but I have to ask this. Nicholas, before you go, his question was, people are so confused about data products. Can we name it differently?
No.
30
I
seconds.
don't.
No, 30
No.
seconds for everyone. Last 30 seconds.
No, I don't think that renaming that is confusion. I think that one of the cases where the naming is actually not so bad, because it carries a lot of things around what our products, and the confusion is will always exist. So it's all about education and coming back to basics, but also I always insist at the end. What works is that each organization need to have take the time to do their own definition, what we call what and what we put behind.
You need to
And
learn
whatever
that.
the confusion that exists on the market, you go back to this is how we're going to call stuff internally, and this is how we're going to organize behind. Daniel is gone, but that's very important. Otherwise, if you want to call that data kittens internally, I don't really care. But as an industry, I don't think that's a bad word, and we can continue to that as a good anchor.
Thank you so much. Marek, quickly. Can we rename data product something else?
I always called anything when we were creating tools, interactive tools. We never thought about data products. But I think we need definitely new names. So I don't know if the tool is fine. There will be probably some new name, but it's about the marketing team. So when I put my cap on marketing, I will give you my LinkedIn post and definitely we'll find some name. Now we call that pilots. We called it pilots, not PI, but PAI a lot.
Okay.
We gave the name pilots. That was about that.
Gregor, quickly, 30 seconds.
Yeah, I don't think that there is a new name needed. There is education needed to explain it and have a better understanding. So same as Nicolas. Yeah.
Awesome. Ahmed.
I think that it's not a naming issue on my side. And I think that the name is not what we need to change, but depending on what you implement in your organization as an internal product or something that is customer facing, you might choose to be more specific in the name you give and based on the use cases that you have implemented.
Just to disappoint all of you, I know a company who has renamed this so-called data product as a different name. And they say, this is our company. We want to name it like this. I said, good luck. Continue. Again, thank you so much, everyone. It was a great session. Pleasure. We will be conducting another panel discussion. Thank you, Nathalie, coming back, turning on your camera. We'll come back again in a quarter's time and we will find a very relevant topic at that point in time. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Thanks, everyone, for joining. All those participants online.
Thanks, everyone. Awesome. Thanks, Mustafa. Bye-bye.
Great talk.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.